there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, GM Potter here. Welcome to my channel where I review books and bookish things. I try to upload on Thursdays and alternating Tuesdays with a couple sprinkled in here and there, depending on how the mood strikes me. And today I am very excited to be doing a an advanced reader copy for Tender by Beth Hetland. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so this book came to me as an advanced reader copy. Special thanks to NetGalley and to the publisher for letting me read this for free in exchange for my honest feedback. This book comes out on 3/12/24, and currently in pre-review it has a 3.81 on Goodreads. For me, this one is a solid 5 stars. Like, it's hard to give it less stars because it was so good, but at the same time it was very visceral and haunting. This book was trigger warning for the book for infant loss, eating disorders and disordered eating, and animal abuse. That being said, I figured we would start with the blurb that NetGalley has on the book. So, Tender by Beth Hetland is a psychological thriller about a woman obsessed with her vision for a picture-perfect, curated life. Carolanne wanted a perfect wedding, a perfect husband, perfect family. She carefully performs her own roles, gal pal, bestie, girlfriend, wife, expectant mother, and manipulates those around her to try and get the result she wants. Her desire to control the uncontrollable ultimately becomes her undoing. When things don't go her way, she exerts dominance over the one thing she does have control over, her body, until that betrays her. After suffering a horrible loss, Carolanne spirals into literal, all-consuming delusion, causing her body to produce the symptoms of hysterical pregnancy as a result of her slicing off bits of her own flesh and eating them. Chicago cartoonist and educator, Beth Hetland's graphic novel debut is a brilliant psychological thriller that tears down the wall of a genre, body horror, so often identified with male characters. Heady and visceral, Tender uses horrific tropes to confront women's expectations of self-sacrifice despite those traditional roles, often coming at the expense of female sexuality and empowerment. This book, oh my gosh, this book. So, I read it very quickly. It's like I like to say, it's a graphic novel. It's mostly pictures. I'll include a picture here so you can get a feel for the art style, which even in the way the art is done, it becomes more unhinged as the character becomes more unhinged. Like, it's very well done. I was literally breathless when I finished this. I felt like I had just run, not a marathon. I've never run a marathon, but like a 5K. Like, I felt exerted after reading this. It left me breathless. It left me feeling sick in the pit of my stomach and feeling not even sympathy, but disgust towards the main character, which I kind of think is the point. That she brought this on herself, that if she had just learned to be herself and to accept herself instead of manipulating and obsessing, like the obsession in there, because it's told in time skips. So we start here and then we go backwards and then we come back to the present and then we skip forwards, and then it's almost circular, it's almost cyclical in a way. Like, the first page is eerily reminiscent of the last page in like a really messed up kind of way. So, like the blurb said, body horror is often male-dominated. This gives traditional body horror a psychological twist. Like, a lot of body horror is psychological, but this one really gets into the nitty-gritty of a psychological body horror. Like, you really get into the character's mind, and the bit with the cat, that I almost had to stop reading out the bit with the cat. But it was one of my notes here is that this book puts the graphic in graphic novel. And I have The Toll of Perfect Life. The toll of perfect life takes on your mental health. It's just falling down the rabbit hole with this person and not wanting to be with this person, and not, she gets her comeuppance in a way, but by the time she gets her comeuppance, she's so delusional and so deluded that she doesn't even realize that she's getting her comeuppance. That it's just so much, so fast. It's a rapid fire kind of book, and it just, oh. I've said that Tender is the Flesh is my favorite book I'll never read again. This is another favorite book I'll never read again. Like, this one, solid 5 stars. It deserves 5 stars. It deserves praise and accolades. If you think you can stomach it, show the author some love. Definitely. If you have a thing for horror, if you have a thing for body horror, if you have a thing for psychological thrillers and a graphic novel kind of nature, this is the book for you. But I don't think I'm going to read it again. I'll probably buy a physical copy to support the author, because I feel this work is important in what it has to say, and so I want to support the author that way. But at the same time, I don't think I'll crack the book because it's just so visceral. It's so, the book takes a physical toll on you as you're reading it. Like, it's, I don't know if you've seen those webcomics, Deep Dark Fears, where it's like pull a hangnail and the skin just peels. Like, that's in the book, and things like that. And just, like, at first she does these things, and, like, I can't remember the medical term for it, but ripping out your hair and eating it is like a psychological thing. The character does that in places, and it takes a toll. It takes a toll. And she's like, oh, I just burned my hands taking something out of the oven. And her friend looks over and she's like, these don't look like burns. And she's like, ow, don't touch me. It's like, okay. Like, her friends suspect that something's up, but they don't know. Like, they know something's up, but they don't know what's up or what's coming or what's happened. They're trying to be supportive and they're trying to be good friends, and it's just not possible after a while. Like, in her quest to be the perfect thing to everybody and to have the perfectness of everything, she alienates everybody around her. And she just, like, thinking about certain depictions in the book just make my skin crawl, but almost in a good way, because it was so well done. So, like I said, this book comes out on March 12th, and yeah, if you're brave enough, definitely read this one. I highly recommend it. It is very good. Thank you again to NetGalley and the publisher. I will have the book linked down below. But yeah, please show this author some love. This, for a debut, this is phenomenal. And again, all opinions are my own. Who else's would they be? Are there any horror graphic novels or books that you're really excited about releasing that are coming out soon? Let me know in the comments down below. Oh, and for spicier content, check out my Patreon, which will be linked down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.